you know, don't like talk to them like you're like prospecting them. Just talk to them like a normal ass person, because like you can tell like right away. I remember he was at my house, and I was like so pumped because he like just hit ambassador, and like I was like, yo, I sent this like really long text to my best friend, and I was like, come over, blah blah, and he was like, he looked at me and he was like, dude, he's like, he's like, do you always, you know, talk? He's like, do you always talk to your friend like that? And I'm like, no, actually not at all. Like I never sent something this long. He's like, yeah, delete that shit. He's like, just tell him to come over. I'm like, oh, okay. So my point is just like keep it simple, you know, like don't be too weird about it. Just talk to them like a normal human being. Like I said, build a relationship first, and then, you know, invite the person. You never want to, like the ABCs of network marketing is literally the perfect example. It's like, you know, you want to talk about, I don't know, have you guys ever seen that video, the ABCs of network marketing? It's pretty dope. I would like look this up on YouTube or like write it down for sure. It's called the ABCs of network marketing, and this one kid, he was like some like hip kid from Michigan, but he made a pretty good video. I don't know if Luke Hessler like recreated it or not, but it was like this is like when you're talking to a prospect, like A is where you're at. So like you want to be like, you know, hey, what's up, man? You know, like, you know, where you work at, you know, lately, you know, like in the conversation, okay? So it's like A is where you're at. You know, B is like where you want to be. You know, like is that, you know, it's like, oh, you're working at Applebee's, like, you know, is that like what you actually want to do in life, or like what's good, like what do you want to do career-wise? And then they'll say something obviously completely different, because of course they don't want to fucking work at Applebee's. So, you know, he probably, or like say he like complains about like how much money he doesn't make. He's like, oh yeah, you know, it's kind of shitty right now, but it's whatever. You know, then C is change, so you kind of like, you know, kind of open it up and you're like, you know, well that sucks. I mean, you know, we need to change that, right? And like always end it with like a yes question. Like don't give him like, you know, an answer. You kind of want to ask him like a question that like you already know the answer to. Like you gotta, you know, we gotta change something about that, right? And he'd be like, yeah. And then D is decision. And he's like, well, you know, he's like, if I have something, you know, like say like, you know, like if I had something, you know, that could like definitely change that, would you be like willing to check it out? And you'd be like, well, fuck yeah, like, you know what I'm saying? Like obviously, you know. And then E is everything else. So that's how you open it up, you know. Like you don't ask, you don't. I never said wake up now. I never said residual income. I never said, you know, I was never like creepy to him. I was just getting to know the kid and like kind of just see how I did that. So now E is when, now that he agreed that he wants to hear it, now E is everything else. E is when you're gonna, boom, you're gonna talk to them about it, and you know, then you're gonna send them, you know, founderslegacy.org. That's what I always do. I never waste my time and send a message that's like re-explaining it, like ever. I don't do that because I just do that on calls. Like I get sick of hearing myself all day on calls, so it's like I'm not gonna sit here and retype exactly how Wake Up Now works to this kid, you know. So I'm just gonna, to be more efficient. That's duplication. That's like the one thing that really helps duplicate it, because it's like it's the same thing every single time. You know, it's very interactive. It's self-explanatory. It shows you the compensation plan, shows you all the product, and like even when I'm on a phone call, like I don't talk about all the products. I talk about the ones that matter to me. Like you know, I'm not sitting there saying like, you know, actually no, I do kind of talk about most of them, but you know, like the ones that like not a lot of people really talk about. Like what I focus on is the tax bot. I focus on the vacation club. I focus on the language learning software, because I actually am using that. I talk about like the Awaken product also. So like those are like what I really talk about, and then, you know, that's kind of like how I do with that. So I never really like go too far into it, but like I said, I always just send them founderslegacy.org, because it saves so much freaking time. And it's like, you know, like say you have a question with this kid and you don't know it, like you don't have to like, you know, text me or text someone else and be like, yo, like I don't know the answer to this. What's, you know, how do I say that, or how do I explain it? You could just send them the link and it kind of does the work for you a little bit. You know, it's more. And then it also like what it really does is kind of shows you what type of person that prospect is too. Because if they don't give a shit, they're not going to look at the website. They're going to say screw you. You know what I'm saying? Like those are the people that just kind of want it. Those are the people that freaking hit you up and saying, yo, I want to do it, I want to join, and then you don't hear from them for 2 weeks, and then like 2 weeks later they're like, bro, yeah, I think I'm going to do it now. And like those like the what ifers, the half-assers, the kids that you don't even fucking want them in your business anyway. that's stupid, you know, like, that, don't waste your fucking time on kids like that. Waste your time, you know, you wanna run with the runners and crawl with the crawlers, you know what I'm saying? Like, you don't wanna waste your time on the kids that aren't doing work. And that's just how you become a self-efficient leader. Like, you wanna do that 80-20 rule, you know, focus 80% of your time on 20% of your people. Especially when you have an organization that's, you know, 1,000 plus kids, you know, like if you think you're struggling with fucking, you know, 12 people on your team handling it, you know, really start to worry when you have 1,000 people on your team in your head, you know, you're like, it's literally like a phone book of people that you have to talk to every single day, you know what I'm saying? Like, so you really want to focus on like your top 20 percent people, you know, 80% of your time with those guys, because if everyone does that, they're going to be all so much more sufficient, because those 20% are going to focus on like his first tier of people, and like all the people that are really doing work are really getting the, you know, the time and, you know, effort being put into helping them out, you know, because that's like how you really want to roll for momentum. You want to help those leaders on your team, because those are people who are leading the team. They're getting the most work done, you know, so you want to really do that. But yeah, where was I? Oh yeah, with E, everything. But yeah, and then after I send them that, now if they respond and they're like, hey man, I just checked it out, you know, I still got some questions, oh, can you give me a call? You know, yeah, I'll give them a call and talk to them about it, and I usually just close it out over the phone, and then I just send them my link, and that's it. Boom, you know, and then just repeat the process. Just get good at opening and closing the deal. You know, it's like, it's almost like being a car salesman, which is why I'm so good at that too, because like it kind of, you know, correlates together. Like a sale is a sale. You know, you're closing it out. You know, you're opening it up, get to know the person first. It's like with cars. You know, what I was taught was build up the value of the car before you even talk about the price, because you want to kind of you know, have like that car matter to that person. You know, you want to like really like show them what they, you know, like about the car, and then talk about price after. So you want to like, it's like the same thing. Now you want to build a relationship with that person. You want to get to know them as a, you know, a human being, and then you talk to them about Wake Up Now, because now he openly trusts you, you know what I'm saying, and you have more of a, you know, a one-on-one experience with that person, and then you close it out, boom, done. So that's pretty much like, I think, the main thing that you guys needed the most help with, as far as duplicating that. That's definitely huge. And then start making videos, like even just practice, like you know, when you're by yourself or something like that, make like a fucking tip of the day, or like something that you've read that you think is important. Like really get your name out there. Getting your, you know, like network marketing is straight up a popularity contest. It really is, if you think about it. Like it really is. It's like, who knows, you know, everyone's heard of Seymour Green, everyone knows who those guys are, you know, like it's because they've branded themselves as leaders. Logan Shippey, you've heard of that kid at least once, I think, right? He just hit executive, you know, he's best friends with Julian, and they get their name out there all the time. Kyle Lee Weber too, he's out there a lot. Jermaine Anderson, he's another leader that's really big. You know, all those guys, Chris Frederick, everyone knows who that is.
Ken Pollock's talking about those videos now.
Yeah, bro, you know, like Elo Robinson, he's killing it on My First Leg. He's making a bunch of videos. It's like whoever's making the most videos and getting their name out there is seeing the most success, right? That's pretty much what it is. Get your fucking name out there. Make a video, you know, even if like you know, even if it's like a first time thing, like even if, you know what I'm saying, just get comfortable. Like I said, being uncomfortable. Get your name out there more. You know, be proud to be fucking in the company, because you're making more money than all your friends now anyway. You know, especially once you hit that family 3.
Yeah.
So, you know,
Yo, do you think GoPro stat?
Yeah, we have all the links to the books on our page too. So like Think and Grow Rich, Business of the 21st Century, GoPro.
Yeah, Rich Dad Poor Dad's really good too, by Robert Kiyosaki. That was amazing. But yeah, all those books, like that's how I got good. And then now, another thing too with network marketing is you want to create some type of a schedule for yourself with it. Like especially, you know, like think about it this way: your entire life is scheduled out. You know, you've been scheduled out since you were a fucking kid. You know, what time you're going to soccer practice or baseball, and what time you're going to school. You know, what classes when you have this. You know, at work when you have to be at, you know, out of work when you have to go there. Everything's scheduled out. The problem with network marketing and the blessing with network marketing is the same exact thing. You know, like you can do it whenever you want. That's the best part about it. But it's also the worst part about it, because most people don't, you know, dedicate a certain amount of time to doing it. So it's like when you treat it like a job, like for me, what really helped me to get on track to where where I'm almost hitting Founder 5 is pretty much like I pretty much just like scheduled out, made like a daily routine for myself on like when I'm gonna wake up, because I don't go to college anymore, so it's like I can wake up whenever I want, but you know, when I still set an alarm because now, you know, I have a business and I want to like get to, you know, pretty much be as efficient as possible. So, you know, I wake up on a schedule, you know, I made a schedule of like what time I'm going to dedicate like prospecting. You know, I'll sit on the computer for like 2 or 3 hours and prospect. And, you know, and then I'll dedicate like another hour to like reading a book or something like that, like once in a while, like when I have a lot of downtime. And then like the rest, I kind of just, I have like a list of like my top 20%, like my leaders and shit like that. And like I just make sure I try and like connect with all of them like on a daily basis, like as much as I possibly can, you know. So it's like, and I always grow the list too. It's not like I just have like a, you know, I always like pretty much pick out like my MVP is pretty much, you know, like that's kind of what you want. That's how you like micromanage your team as much as possible. That 80-20 rule is huge, you know. But yeah, that's pretty much it. Do you guys like have any questions as far as like what you need help with or anything?
So how much does the everybody buying a case, like volume wise, what would that bump up?
That can almost double your business if you have a big enough team too.
So
like if Tremaine's team, like he's pushing all those bigger guys who have like a shit ton of people in them are really pushing Buying Awaken because like that's a shit ton of points, bro.
Mhm.
You go from 90, you got from 90 QV a person to like 114 a person or something like that.
That just adds up.
Now if you have like 1,000 kids, you know, like that's a lot of added fucking points. You can rank up, you can skip a rank just by getting people to buy the fucking, you know, product.
That's fucking nuts. If you get to that one rank, like the one
There's a lot of
time-
different ways that you can kind of cheat and stuff like that. Not cheat, but like little
Business
shortcuts to try,
moves.
yeah, business decisions and moves that you can do to rank up quicker. Like like buying people on, not buying people on, but yeah, like buying people on. Like say you're like founder 5 and you want to hit founder 7. Like the reason why I say your strategy should be building 3 teams first. Like build 3 huge fucking legs. Don't worry about hitting founder 4. Like worry about it, but like build your fucking first 3 legs like huge first. You know what I'm saying? Because that's only going to ultimately help you in the long run to get to founder 7. You know, because those 3 line maxes they're gonna take away from all the people that you need over here to get there. You know, so like if you're and plus it's gonna go with the momentum of your team. Like if you have those studs on your team that are doing well and they're really doing work and they're putting effort into it, then you want to kind of like help them out, like especially if they're not complaining, they're not like, yo, I need people, this and that. Like, you know, like if you're just doing your shit and like you kind of like make your upline almost like, you know, really notice and you're sticking out and you're hustling hard and stuff, they're gonna love to fucking want to keep rolling with your momentum, you know. Like Zach Richardson, I've been building up this team like the entire time, like focusing on them. Like, you know, Idolo, he's got his fucking shit set, you know, like he's out there in Hawaii, he's doing really, really well, so I'm trying to help him as much too. Like you guys have a lot of momentum right now, so like I'm really trying to focus on you guys, you know, and just keep rolling with it. Don't let it stop, you know, because like Zach, he's almost founder 4 already, you know, in like a month and a half. Like that's crazy.
Just fucking started.
Yeah, he's really good. So
Yeah,
that's just kind of like what I suggest. Like, you know, just roll with the momentum and build those 3 legs as big as possible first, because then ultimately it's just going to help you get to like founders 6, 7. Like, dude, founder 7 is not hard. And like the thing about it too is like people put it on such a pedestal. It's only like halfway to global exec. Like global exec is where you want to be. Like founder 7 is like pennies compared to what you're going to make, bro. Like think about that. I get excited just thinking about hitting founder 7. It's $14,000 a month.
Executive is founder 7 every month, isn't it?
Pretty much. Executive is 20,000.
Ah. Well, I would go.
Early exec is 20, 26, something like that. 26,000.
14 G's a
So-
month sounds good. That
Right.
sounds about right.
14 G's is fucking
Just sitting-
fat, bro.
And we're just sitting in the
And that's in a
college room,
fat
like,
paycheck
yeah.
too.
Well,
Like, you know what I want to do? Like, I just want to take a paycheck and just give it to the bank and just have them give me like bands like that. Just a big rack of 10K. Like,
keep it like the glove
sick.
box. Like, you can get a straw. Right?
And you get that every month. That fucking excites me. I'm pumped for that.
No, I haven't an unrelated question. It's just been bugging me.
Yeah.
For the